today we're going to take a look at the Games Begin Goku, but this Goku has been glazed to no end. I have also seen a lot of people complain about it, but today the most important thing about this video, we are going to go over this secret bag of goodies. Now, it's not really a secret, this is just a ton of neck peg adapters from AFFM Customs, and Adrian has been making custom neck pegs for a lot of different Dragon Ball figures. Highly recommend it. Plus, he has made an upgrade kit for the Black Hole Toys Vegeta, the Majin one. I'll do that at some point, but today is all about this guy. I am thankful to Adrian for sending this thing over to me because mine I ordered through Amazon, and that apparently was a mistake because it's gonna take forever. Box, newest thing about this box is that it talks about the shoulder system, which I've heard some people complain about. Back is normal, inside flap is normal, and then boom, bonus flap on the other side. It lets you know about all this stuff. Now, I will say, right off the bat, swapping heads just by default is really annoying with this thing. The Games Begin. This is, his face fell off. The Games Begin Goku is your Cell Saga stuff. So he's doing the games with Cell, if you remember. This is the new standard for SH Figuarts with their Dragon Ball Z line. So what makes this thing so special, or potentially special, is that it's a brand new from the ground up, except for I assume the hands are probably the same hands we've seen before. So as you can see, the accessories are pretty basic. This is pretty standard for a $35 Goku. Now, this guy does run often $37.99 because of all the things happening in the US. But this is what he looks like by default. I mean, this is a solid design. I have been excited about this for a while. They're bringing in the newest updated articulation, the new sculpts, and then you get that same thing we've seen with the Daima Goku, where it's all built into a single joint, but you still get really nice articulation. I think that some things will stand out, like the way the ankle is. It's like it has that deeper cut, so you can get a more intense angle. Look at that. Crazy. You're going to be great for poses, but there are some concerns, and people have had issues with the faces not fitting properly to the head. I think maybe the alternate head, we will find out. This one, the body does pop apart a little easy, but this was also something that AFFM Customs had been messing with on his own, so I don't know how much of this loose stuff from the waist and the head may have happened because of swapping things around a lot. Plus, I've already done all the head swaps. But by default, this is pretty solid, and the skin tone paint to the plastic skin is actually working really well. That's something that historically they've struggled with. Now, it's not 100% perfect, but it definitely works, and I'm happy to see that. There's a little bit of paint on the front, which you can see especially when you stretch the pants out, which does work visually, and then on the back, like we've seen before, nothing. Not a single ounce of paint. They just go heavy on the front, maybe just the legs, and then that's it. Anyway, let's get into all the accessories here because we have a decent amount to look at, but it's really going to come down to all of those swappable head options, and there are a lot. On by default, he's got fists, which is pretty standard. They look basically like we've seen before. I mean, it's possible that these are new, but I mean, it doesn't really matter as long as they look good. And of course, it can't be Goku versus Cell without this instant transmission. And you get these fighting stance options, which do look just as good as normal. I will say, pulling up the hands off, I'm starting to see separation in the pegs, which is a little concerning. This is made in the Vietnam factories, and historically we have seen the Vietnam factories produce some of the worst items. Now, they're not always bad, but there are a few figures that have come out that historically just fall apart or just aren't good, and they're usually the Vietnamese factory. Then you get these Ki Blast hands and another set. So a basic option of hands, which is fine. It really is just a default $35 Goku, so it's a great way for people that haven't gotten into the line to get into the line. Hair looks great. You know, this is the difference of adding a little bit of paint to a head sculpt. It really does go a long way, and I wish that all companies would ensure that they do that unless they're intentionally trying to do a light, flat yellow, which does look good. But the face sculpt is great. The colors, the paint, all that stuff is really working. Optional faceplate is beautiful. That is that classic Goku we love, but the eyes are kind of weird. Like the shapes just they don't match. They're not the same. But if you're just looking at it casually, I think it's going to be fine. But that is something to kind of notice. Up next, we have a nice fighting face, a little angry with the eyes shifted to the left just a little bit. And finally, this one with the mouth open. And it does look good. There's nice depth in the mouth, good paint work. The reason why I said earlier that the heads were a bit annoying to swap around is because they're at this 90-degree angle, and that makes it really tough, because normally when you just go straight down, easy, but you have to, what I found is make this thing go straight up and then hold the head straight down so that they align properly and you have the strength behind it. Otherwise, it keeps flipping around on you. So this is the alternate head sculpt, and I think that this is the one that people have been having issues with, getting all the parts to align. Now, I don't know if that's all of them. I mean, I'm definitely noticing an issue here. Looks like maybe that hole over here is not big enough to accept the pegs. Yeah, that is definitely the case, and that is definitely a problem. It might be the same on both sides. Now, I think this one might not even be as bad as what some of the other folks have been seeing, but this is stupid. You have an alternate head in the box that just isn't made to fit the face plates, at least on this side. That looks really bad. But this is the alternate head, so, I mean, should you be upset about this? Yes, you spent $35 to $38 getting this guy, and it's not perfect. Doesn't mean everything has to be perfect from top to bottom, but for a company that's been around as long as they have, this kind of stuff shouldn't be happening. And that may be an issue with the Vietnamese factories versus the ones in China. I don't know, but the track record is pretty bad. But this is the brand new Next system, which should give us a lot more range than we've seen in the past. So I'm excited to see this. It kind of reminds me of the stuff that Piccolo would get in the past. So speaking of articulation, let's get into that so we can start swapping all of these heads around. So we can look straight down, no problem, which is great. If you fiddle with it enough, well, it'll just pop right out. I mean, it looks up good. It's just like, it's not really any better than I think we've ever seen from another Goku. I don't know that this neck peg is really doing so much work that we should have switched to this, but I don't know. At the end of the day, is the range good? Yes. There's also neck articulation, which obviously can help. And then we get into the shoulders, which can be a bit of a concern for some people. Now, the range is fantastic. We're going to have butterfly joints that also come forward to perfection, so you can get whatever pose you need out of that, but the sleeves get a little weird. And I did see a video on Instagram where you can take this all apart, glue the blue sleeve in place, and then everything will function a little bit smoother and not get all bunched up and floppy. But you can kind of see all of the joints through the front of his shirt if you push it far enough, because all of this is a softer material, which we've seen in the past with things like the Daima one, which means we're going to get a lot of range. It does get a little tricky, but you just have to kind of push and pull those shoulders to get everything to line back up. But otherwise, you can have this kind of chunky section. But there's a lot of swivel and movement in the shoulders and in the upper part of the arm. You got the bicep swivel, standard double jointed elbows, and the ball peg for the wrist. Extreme, but that's because of this whole setup here, which I know some people complain about, but look at that. There's a lot of movement going on, a lot of different types of joints than what we've seen in the past. Normally it's just like a simple setup, but there's a lot happening here. I think the best thing when posing this guy is to take advantage of this floating belt and midsection, because otherwise you get this huge gap. So you kind of want to push that stuff up and close it off as much as you can. So it's not nearly as bad where if you kept this thing down and pushed it back, yes, it's disgusting. But that means we also have more range than we've ever seen on a beefy Goku like this. The Daima one, I would say, is one of the best for articulation. This might be as good, if not better. I mean, that's insane. You normally don't get this out of a Goku. I think Daima did it. Definitely with Vegeta, I remember it going this far, but that is insane. So yes, you're going to have some of the best range that you've ever seen out of a Goku at the expense of a little bit of gapping in the midriff. The new approach to the pants where they go all the way up to the side here, which I think visually, especially in a neutral pose like this, is definitely better. But you want to twist those things up underneath of the softer crotch piece, and then you can get some better articulation. Nearly perfect splits. There's a lot of movement that we've seen up here before, some thigh swivel. This joint, again, is just a single one, but it does go really far. I think that's going to be fine. I'm not sure that we're going to have any issues with that. Plus, on top of that, we now have what we've seen recently with the shin articulation, which is pretty interesting. So I think some people are gonna really be able to push the limit of these things to get some awesome poses. Toe articulation and then that really nice ankle. Is this a perfect figure? No. It has its issues, such as the alternate head not fitting. You have to like drill out the holes, I guess. And then some things like the cutout here in the center. I wish it would have gone up further, or there was like an extra flap in there, which we've seen with some figures in the past, just to help hide that stuff. But for anybody that wants a highly articulated Super Saiyan Goku, yeah, this is going to be an excellent choice. And because this is the current one on the market, you're going to be able to get this guy for the $35 or $38. I will put links down in the description for options to buy him, so you can choose what's the best location for you. And then just keep all this in mind, that some of this stuff will just pop apart and can be pretty irritating. If this is the version of Goku that you enjoy the most versus something like Daima, and you want the best articulation, this is going to be it, or some of the stuff that's coming up over the next year. So let's jump into all of the alternate options for neck pegs. So obviously we got to start with the 2.0 Goku heads to the Games Begin body. So everything you see on the left is going to be older head sculpts to this body, and then the two in the center take this Games Begin head and attaches it to older bodies. Now, I do not have the K/GB, which is the Kong Goku heads. I don't have anything from Kong Studios or Beast Deities that is a Goku. But I do have 2.0 bodies. So we can take the lowest born Saiyan and swap that over. And now what you'll see mostly throughout this entire thing is that the skin tones are going to be off. There are a couple that really match up perfectly, which means anything that is using a 2.0 head, like this demoniacal fit option, you can definitely swap over, have a beautiful look in any of the sets from TK Customs or DCG. Then we have this one, which will work for Gohan or the legendary Super Saiyan Goku. Now, I have the legendary Super Saiyan Goku, so let's go ahead and see what that looks like. And again, you see that the skin tone just doesn't match, the face is too dark, but should be fine for Gohan. Up next, we have the Toyotaro Ultra Instinct, and this is actually a pretty solid look. I like this a lot. You definitely get the beefier look. It's not perfect, but I think this is a solid choice for anybody that wants to go that route. Up next, we have the Kamione, or the Tonsen Art. This is the Kamione Goku where he rides the bicycle. So you get that one, you can swap it over and have some more classic older looks for Goku on this body, which is fine. It really just depends on which version you have. Up next, we have the Demoniacal Fit Martialist Forever, and there are two versions of that. They are built the same, so I've taken the most current one and swapped it over, so if you want a Goku with a halo, you can definitely do that. Then you have the Games Begin head that can fit to older bodies, so this allows for the older 2.0 body styles to work. It works really well. I mean, look at this on the Daima body. And then if you want to put it on the lowest born Saiyan, and then you have the Demoniacal Fit option, which actually is a great complement. And he makes a bunch of different pegs depending on the body that you want. Just use the listings down in the description. Again, if something's missing, just reach out to him and ask him for it. And then if you want to see what this thing looks like on the legendary Super Saiyan, wow. Well, there you go, folks. If you want some of those adapters, of course, the links are down in the description. Hit him up. If something's missing off of the site, then just send him a DM and he'll take care of you. And I want to thank AFFM Customs for sending these things over. Appreciate you, and I will send this Goku back your way. And if you want to see some more custom upgrades, then be sure to click the top link right there. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.